What's up, Remy family? Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because what's unfolding right now is way bigger than it seemed at first glance. This situation has taken a turn that a lot of people didn't expect, and honestly, it's starting to feel like there's a lot more going on beneath the surface than anyone initially realized. Things are getting complicated, and the latest development has only added more fuel to the fire. So here's where it gets interesting. Papoose has finally decided to break his silence and speak out about everything that's been circulating. A lot of people were waiting on this moment, expecting him to come through with some clarity, maybe even shut down the rumors once and for all. But instead of clearing things up, his response has actually raised even more questions. And not just small ones either. Serious questions that are making people look at the whole situation differently. Now don't get it twisted, the way he approached it was calm and measured. He didn't come off aggressive or defensive. In fact, he seemed like he was trying to keep things respectful and avoid adding negativity to the situation. On the surface, that might make it seem like he's taking the high road. But when you really listen closely to what he's saying, and more importantly, how he's saying it, you start to notice certain details that don't quite add up. It's almost like he's choosing his words very carefully, and while that can be a smart move, it can also come across as someone trying not to reveal too much. Instead of giving direct answers, there are moments where it feels like he's speaking around the issue rather than addressing it head-on. And that's exactly why people are starting to feel like something isn't being fully explained. Fans and followers have been quick to pick up on this, and now the conversation has shifted. Instead of people feeling reassured, there's a growing sense of skepticism. Some are even questioning whether this statement was meant to clarify things at all, or if it was more about controlling the narrative without actually diving into the truth. At the end of the day, this situation is far from over. If anything, Papoose speaking out has just opened the door to even more speculation and deeper analysis. People are paying closer attention now, reading between the lines, and trying to piece together what's really going on. So stay locked in because this story is still unfolding. And if this is how things are developing already, there's a good chance even bigger revelations could be right around the corner.
I can't say the exact date as to when, things went left, but I would say it's safe to say, yeah, around that time. You know what I mean? Things went left. I can't just say exactly when,
And here's the wild part. Throughout the entire situation, he's clearly trying to maintain a calm and respectful tone. He keeps it composed, almost rehearsed, like he's making a conscious effort not to say anything negative or inflammatory. On the surface, that might come across as maturity, like he's taking the high road. But if you really listen closely, if you pay attention to how he's choosing his words, it starts to feel like there's something deeper going on beneath it all. Something he's not fully saying out loud. So let's really break this down from the beginning. Papoose sits down for the interview and gets asked about his relationship with Remy Ma. Right away, his energy stands out. He's not emotional, not reactive. He's calm, controlled, and extremely calculated. Every answer feels measured, like he's carefully thinking through each sentence before he lets it leave his mouth. It's almost like he's filtering himself in real time, making sure nothing slips through that he didn't intend to reveal. Now, at first glance, that might seem completely normal. After all, this is a personal situation being discussed publicly. Of course someone would want to be careful. But the level of control he's showing goes beyond just being cautious. It starts to raise questions. Because instead of naturally explaining what happened, he seems to be navigating around certain details. What's really happening is that he's acknowledging that things went wrong in the relationship, but he never actually explains when they went wrong or how everything unfolded. And that's a key detail. That missing timeline isn't just a small gap, it's a major piece of the story. Without it, you're left trying to connect dots that haven't been fully drawn. And here's why that matters so much. Whenever someone avoids giving a clear timeline, it often suggests that the timeline itself contains information they're not ready or not willing to share. It could reveal inconsistencies, overlap, or moments that would change how people view the situation entirely. So by keeping that part vague, he's technically answering the question, but not in a way that gives full transparency. That's the first major sign that something isn't being fully said. But it doesn't stop there. Things get even more interesting when he's directly asked what actually caused the breakup. This is the moment where you'd expect some clarity, something straightforward, maybe even a specific reason that ties everything together. Instead, what you get feels more like a broad, generalized response. He avoids pointing to one defining moment or issue, and instead keeps things vague, almost like he's intentionally keeping the real cause out of the conversation. And when someone sidesteps a direct question like that, it naturally makes people wonder why. Because at the end of the day, if everything was simple and clear-cut, there wouldn't be a need to speak in such a guarded way. The fact that he does suggest there's more to the story, details that haven't been fully revealed yet. And that's exactly why people are starting to look closer, analyze every word, and question what's really going on behind the scenes.
It really wasn't, you know what I mean? Like I said, man, and like I always say, you know, I have nothing bad to say about her. You know, like you said, I'm going through a situation right now. You know, we are handling it. We are handling the divorce. So there's not much I could really get into about that. But what I will say is that, you know, y'all as fans, like you said, me and you did an interview, and we spoke about it. We spoke about, you know, what I was dealing with, visiting her through her bid, the whole situation.
Instead, he ends up saying there wasn't just one specific thing that caused everything to fall apart. And honestly, that's where things start to feel confusing. Because if nothing major happened, then how did everything still collapse? That explanation doesn't really add up. Relationships, especially marriages, don't just fall apart for no reason. There's always a turning point, a build-up, or at least something that shifts the dynamic. And we're not talking about just any relationship here. This is a marriage that survived serious real-life challenges, prison time, long-distance strain, and years of public scrutiny. He stood by Remy Ma through one of the hardest periods of her life, showing loyalty when most people would have walked away. So now, hearing him say things just didn't work out feels incomplete. It's not that people don't understand relationships can end. It's that the explanation doesn't match the history. The more he talks, the more it feels like answers are being replaced with vague statements. Instead of clearing things up, it creates even more questions. And viewers are picking up on that. A lot of people just aren't buying the idea that something so strong simply faded without a clear reason. What really stands out is how he keeps repeating the same line. "I've got nothing bad to say." On the surface, that sounds respectful, even admirable. It makes him look composed and mature. But in situations like this, that kind of phrasing can also feel like a shield, like there are things he could say, but is choosing not to. Then the conversation shifts to a more direct topic. Remy Ma being publicly linked to Easy the Block Captain while still legally married. This is where people expected clarity, maybe a denial, confirmation, or at least some context. But instead his response feels scattered. He focuses on one specific moment, saying the guy got knocked out, repeating it in a way that stands out more than anything else. And that's what makes it so noticeable. Out of everything going on, that's the one detail he speaks on most clearly, while everything else remains vague.